Hi, everyone. Welcome to Ads on Air. I'm Betty Mao, the Product Marketing Manager for Keywords. As a former search marketer, I know that any change to how keywords work is a really big deal. So earlier this month, we announced some changes to keyword match types, a transition for phrase match and broad match modifier, improvements to relevance and performance for broad match, and more straightforward matching rules for exact match. And that's why we're here today. So I want to welcome Brandon, the Product Manager for Keywords. Brandon's based in our Zurich office, and I'm here in the Bay Area, so really appreciate you working with the time difference to make this happen.
Glad to be here, Betty.
Brandon and I are going to talk through a few topics today. We're going to recap those recent changes I just mentioned. We're going to answer a couple advertiser FAQs, and we're going to walk through Google's philosophy of keywords and where we're going. To start, can you start talking through the changes that we announced earlier this month?
Yeah, I'd be happy to. So the short version is we're bringing the best of broad match modifier, or BMM, into phrase match. So the way phrase match behaves will be a combination of the two match types, and eventually BMM will be phased out. If you've been a search marketer for a while, you may remember that phrase match was originally conceived around keeping words together in order in a query, and BMM was about important words being present in the search. A couple of years ago, phrase and BMM behaviors expanded to include searches with the same meaning. And we found that marketers could actually see better results through a mix of the two. And also we've seen that the two match types serve the same use cases.
I see. So we're simplifying match types and we'll be left with exact match, phrase match, and broad match. But there are still some cases where word order matters. So how do we identify those cases and how is it going to affect marketers?
Yeah, you're right. So we know that sometimes the order of the words really does change the meaning of the search. This new phrase match will still respect word order when it's important to the meaning. So let's say you're a moving company and you want to find people interested in moving from New York City to Boston. Currently, you can cover many searches with a mix of phrase and BMM keywords. However, your BMM keywords could also match the searches for people looking to move from Boston to New York City, which you probably don't want to reach. We've built that understanding into the updated phrase match. To make things simpler going forward, you can reach more of the searches you want just by using phrase match, and you don't have to worry about the searches that are less relevant to your business.
So on a practical level, phrase match means quotations, BMM means plus sign. Which piece of punctuation are we going to use here? Which should marketers use for keywords going forward?
We'll continue to use phrase match syntax of quotations. As we've moved towards matching based on meaning, we feel it's important to look at the keyword holistically, and not just about specific terms that have a plus sign. And you may be wondering why we didn't change the match type name if there's new behavior. Since we're sticking with the phrase syntax, we wanted to minimize confusion by also continuing to call it phrase match. As we roll out these changes, the new behavior will actually be applied to both phrase and BMM keywords.
Oh, that's interesting. So if we're eventually moving to phrase match only, why would the behavior be applied to both phrase and BMM keywords right now?
We want to minimize disruption as much as possible here. By applying the new behavior to both phrase and BMM keywords, marketers don't have to make any changes right now. Your BMM keywords will continue to serve the same as phrase, and performance data will be preserved for your BMM keywords. Later this year, you won't be able to create new BMM keywords, but your existing BMM keywords will still serve under this new behavior. In general, create new keywords in phrase match to avoid duplication and make management easier going forward.
Got it. So to summarize, phrase and BMM keywords will begin to behave the same. Marketers don't need to do anything just yet. Everything will continue to serve and data will be preserved. That's great for marketers to know. What's the timing for this change, and when can people start seeing this in their accounts?
Rollout has started and is gradual and ongoing. It will be affecting certain languages first, and by July, the rollout will be complete for all languages.
So what are some best practices to keep in mind throughout this change?
So first, ensure you have enough budget for your campaigns as traffic may shift between them. You should also exclude matches you don't want with negative keywords. And remember that this update does not impact how negative keywords work. We recommend that you use broad match and smart bidding if you're worried about losing volume. Using them together can help you reach more relevant queries while achieving your performance objectives. And finally, to help ensure your creatives are as relevant as possible, we also recommend using responsive search ads.
And how are we helping marketers with this change?
Eventually, marketers will need to examine their existing keywords. We'll automatically surface 2 recommendations on your recommendations page to help this process along. The first is add new keywords, which will help you maintain coverage. And the second is remove redundant keywords, which will help you consolidate duplicate keywords in your account. It's important that you don't delete or consolidate keywords until you're prompted to do so in these recommendations. In general, it's a great idea to start reviewing historical performance data ahead of any change.
Those are some great tips. Thanks for sharing. So let's go over a couple FAQs that we've heard from advertisers. The first one is, what can advertisers expect to see from their phrase and BMM traffic due to this change?
For phrase keywords, it's possible you might see an increase in traffic volumes. And for your BMM keywords, especially those using modifiers on some of the words but not all of them, it's possible you might see a decrease in traffic volume. Remember, the Add New Keyword recommendation will help you maintain traffic, so check your recommendations page regularly.
Another question that we've gotten is, what will happen if the advertiser has the same keyword in phrase match and BMM?
You may notice some traffic shift from BMM to phrase match keywords because both keywords will have the same matching behavior once the change is fully rolled out. So we recommend paying close attention to your budgets to ensure the campaigns containing the phrase keywords are able to absorb this additional traffic. And once the change has fully rolled out, you can use the Remove Redundant Keywords recommendation to clean up duplicate phrase and BMM keywords.
Great. So stepping back a little bit, how did we get here? Could you talk about the evolution of keywords?
Yeah, so we're constantly working to improve our products as technology advances. We know these changes may affect how people are used to managing their accounts, but it's important to remember these changes are worthwhile because they bring performance benefits and they also set marketers up for more success in the future. Think about how technology has helped something like getting to a new place. I remember needing to look at multiple maps to get from one place to the other and then printing out directions before leaving the house. Now it's all right there on my smartphone. There's been a similar evolution in search and our keyword capabilities.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that evolution?
Yeah, so it's important to remember that things started out as literal string matching. So marketers needed tons of keywords because they had to match the searches exactly, including misspellings. I imagine you've heard that 15% of searches we see every day are new. And during COVID-19 especially, we saw people searching for things in new ways that were never anticipated. It's become too difficult for anyone to predict every single way somebody could search for something. The meaning of somebody's search is what matters more. The limitations of specific words and spellings can get in the way of intent, and our machine learning technology helps to unlock that.
Got it. So can you go into a little bit more detail about how those changes specifically affected match types?
Yeah, we brought these technological advances into Google Ads. Over the past few years, the behaviors of exact, phrase, and BMM expanded to match searches that have the same meaning as the keyword. For example, we know that searches lawn mowing service and grass cutting service are looking for the same service. We want to help marketers reach all relevant searches, even if the specific words aren't what you think they might be. And we've been improving broad match too. Broad match now looks at more signals to ensure matches are relevant, like landing pages and the other keywords in your ad group. So we know somebody looking for socks for dogs is not the same as someone looking for socks with pictures of dogs on them.
Are there themes or general guidance that you and the team are thinking about for how to think about keywords going forward?
Yeah, our goal is to build products that enable marketers to reach the right customers in the simplest way possible. Over the years, we've seen the best way to do this is through a combination of marketer input and automation. So how can you pair your insights with the right automation to be ready to respond to what comes next?
Right. So using automation to help empower our marketing efforts. And what does that mean for keywords specifically?
Well, naturally, keyword best practices have evolved with the technology. I'd start by taking a step back and thinking about your goal, to reach as many relevant customers as possible to grow your business. Because of the advances in technology I've mentioned, you don't have to manage every specific keyword anymore. You want to reach searches related to your business and then pair that with machine learning to keep the value of each search aligned with the value that it brings to your business. Adopting smart bidding is the foundational step to unlock these benefits because it uses multiple machine learning signals specific to each unique search to set the right bid. And keywords and match types enable marketers to reach who matters. Then smart bidding helps people grow your business in a profitable, sustainable way.
So to put it another way, we now better understand the meaning behind people's searches, and there's no need to manage every single keyword anymore. Use broader match types to reach every possible relevant search, and then pair that with smart bidding to assure that it aligns with business goals. And in general, we should work in partnership with automation to achieve better results. So who's currently getting this balance right? Are there companies out there that have proved what we're saying today?
Yeah, we've studied this and saw that on average, advertisers that switch their phrase and BMM keywords to broad can see more conversions and conversion value. Advertisers on target CPA can see 25% more conversions, and advertisers on target ROAS can see 12% more conversion value on average. A good example is advertising agency iProspect. We know people have been skeptical of Broadmatch in the past due to behavior, but as I mentioned earlier, we've made a lot of improvements to ensure relevance. iProspect also had their doubts about using Broadmatch in the past, but were open to testing broad in combination with smart bidding. By pairing these two together, they saw a 20% increase in conversions on unique search terms they hadn't used before at the same efficiency as before. They found they could use smart bidding's predictive signals as a safety net, ensuring they only bid on relevant searches within their goals.
While using Broadmatch and smart bidding is a useful combination to expand reach efficiently, we know on the flip side that a lot of marketers use exact match to exercise more control. We recently made improvements on that end as well. Can you explain a little bit more?
Sure. Many marketers have the same keyword in multiple match types. We know that if someone searches for something that is identical to their exact match keyword, they really want that exact match to serve. And we've now made that happen. Previously, another match type could serve due to factors like ad rank or bid. But now, if the search is identical to the exact match keyword, the exact match will always be preferred as long as it's eligible to serve.
Awesome. So what should marketers take away from our chat today?
Yeah, we're bringing the best of BMM into Phrasematch and will eventually stop using BMM. We recommend creating new keywords in phrase going forward. Think about broadening your match types to reach all relevant searches, particularly when you're using smart bidding. And finally, keywords are designed to match the meaning of a search. We've moved towards intent rather than specific words, so it's important to start shifting your mindset towards using automation to help you reach the right customers at scale, rather than controlling individual words and bids.
Thanks for that recap, and thanks so much for staying up late with us and sharing so many good details and tips. We don't always get a peek behind the curtain, so this was very helpful.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I was glad to be here. And thank you to everyone for tuning in. It was great to meet virtually and talk about these changes to keywords.
Okay, everyone, head to the resources page for links around what we talked about today. We'll link to the announcement post about the phrase and BMM change, and look for reminders of timelines in the months ahead as we roll out these match type changes. We appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and we hope this was very helpful.